Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Operations begin at St. Vincent's long-awaited multi-million-dollar international airport. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Tuesday, February 14. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. 6 years after it was supposed to be ready and at a cost of over 700 million EC dollars, the Argyle International Airport is officially open for business. After a flag raising ceremony on Monday evening, Tuesday marked the first full day of operations. Regional airline Liat and several chartered flights arrived at the state-of-the-art facility, which features a 9,000-foot runway and a terminal building that can host 1.5 million passengers annually. Hundreds were gathering at Argyle Tuesday evening for a massive celebratory rally that was due to be attended and addressed by Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro and Cuban Vice President Salvador Mesa. But there was also great celebration on Monday at the official opening of the airport. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves urged the thousands who showed up for that occasion to see the airport not as just a building, but as a symbol of what is possible for the country. He said St. Vincent and the Grenadines should not ever allow any nation to impose limitations on its imagination.
Only we must impose limitations upon ourselves. Any other notion is a colonial one, and it is debilitating, and it will hold us back. Whatever we set our minds to achieve, with patience and a calm, we can achieve, as we have seen it here. This is a bridge to the world. And this plan didn't just come from us. It is a combination of human intelligence and divine inspiration.
And opposition leader Godwin Friday told CMC News opposition lawmakers were at the ceremony on Monday to show support, even though they had concerns about the project.
We are in the opposition. We have to raise questions about things that we see in major projects or in government policy that raises concern. And if we do that, that doesn't mean that we are rejecting entirely or that we are unpatriotic, as some people might say. We are doing our job. When the project is completed, we hope, based on the input that we've given, that it becomes a better project. And so we are here to show that we understand the nature of this as a national project and we support it. And we want to see succeed.
Staying in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, police have detained a former journalist following the Valentine's Day shooting death of a banker. The former senior reporter at the Searchlight newspaper has been taken into custody as the investigations continue into the death of Randy Lawrence, an employee of Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Police say Lawrence was shot above the body near a bar in Honorsville on Tuesday morning. He subsequently died at the hospital. The killing is the first in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for 2017 and ends a 6-week stretch without any homicides after 40 persons were killed in 2016. The Trinidad and Tobago government has bowed to opposition demands for a further extension of the debate of legislation needed to comply with the U.S. Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATCA. FATCA requires foreign financial institutions to report directly to the U.S. Internal Revenue Service all clients who are citizens, green card holders living in the U.S. or abroad, or foreign entities in which U.S. taxpayers hold a substantial ownership interest. Last month, the Trinidad and Tobago government agreed to an opposition request that the Tax Information Exchange Agreement bill, which must be passed in the Twin Island Republic to comply with FATCA, be sent to a joint select committee of Parliament before a vote is taken. When the matter resumed Monday, the opposition was still not satisfied, and Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said he was at a loss as to what the problem was. The government says it has gone above and beyond in amending the bill following the Joint Selects Committee discussions over areas of concern in the original draft of the legislature. Alicia Boucher of TV6 News reports.
Several clauses of contention deleted and amended in the FATCA bill, including one giving powers to the finance minister as a competent authority to provide financial information to the United States.
And this is an important request made by the opposition, which we agreed to. The definition of competent authority now means the Board of Inland Revenue.
Under the new amendments, even the prison sentence and fines for misusing information for anything other than FATCA intended purposes have increased from $30,000 and 2 years in jail to $100,000 and 5 years in jail. It follows a JSC concluded on February 3rd, in which 3 members of the opposition sat along with other stakeholders to meet a February 20th agreement between the government and the United States to show commitment to FATCA compliancy for a September deadline to come into effect.
Even if we pass this legislation today, Madam Speaker, we have a very short window between today and September to put all of the mechanisms in place, which will include these compliance directions, the guidelines to all of the institutions, the insurance companies, to the banks, to the non-bank financial institutions, and so on.
But now the opposition says the JSC ended prematurely.
Because of the nature of how those meetings came to an end, our colleagues did not have opportunity in good time to consider a final draft. Our colleagues therefore may not have in that time, because of the nature of those meetings and how they ended, may not have also had the opportunity to submit a minority report.
It's the basis of the argument from Dr. Moonilal, who did not sit on the JSC himself. He claims committee members were asked to agree to the final report within a 15-minute deadline from when it was sent. But Attorney General Faris El-Rawi says otherwise, stating not only was the document sent the day before, but opposition members would have had it from February 3rd to now, 10 days, to submit their objections. Furthermore, he says, minutes from the JSC's chairman conclusion proves there was no opposition at the time the report was concluded.
Monday's debate ended without a vote, and the finance minister said the opposition would get the extra week it asked for to further discuss the report of the Joint Select Committee.
We will be reconvening the committee at their request. We will treat this report as interim, and we return to the Parliament on the 23rd of February to finish this matter.
The Bahamas government has defended the introduction of an Inception of Communications bill, which it says is a very important tool in the fight against crime. The bill was introduced in Parliament last week, but a non-government organization called the Organization for Responsible Governance has complained that a bill with such dire implications should not have been introduced without being made available for viewing or consultation from the public and other stakeholders. But Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Alison Maynard Gibson insists the legislation is necessary in the fight against crime, much of which is gang-related, transnational, and involves guns and drugs.
We are determined to protect our country against those who are involved in nefarious activities, and we are determined to protect law-abiding citizens. For the first time, permission will have to be sought from the Supreme Court to intercept communications, and we have modernized the concept of what is a communication to include digital communication, as has happened in the United Kingdom, the United States, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, St. Kitts, and many other countries. We want the Bahamian people to know that the government intends in the crime fight to use every tool at its disposal, and this tool is available only, and I want to underscore only, with the permission of the Supreme Court. There is no threat against law-abiding citizens whatsoever. This is solely an important tool in the fight against crime.
Two controversial bills crucial to the Bermuda government's airport redevelopment were finally approved over the weekend after a hard-fought 14 hours of debate in the House of Assembly. The upper house will be the next focal point for the lobbying of legislators, with the Progressive Labour Party urging the public to contact senators to encourage them to bring a pause to the privatization of the island's airport. A protest by the Bermuda Industrial Union against the legislation had been expected last Friday when parliamentarians met to debate it, but it did not materialize due to poor turnout. Premier Michael Dunkley maintains that the airport redevelopment project would be significantly beneficial for the people of Bermuda. A former Barbados Prime Minister warns the country is headed for a serious financial crisis. That story and more when we return. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the colour of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
The jonkonu's fife, the rhythm of the drum, the strum of the pan, the lilt of the voice from island to mainland. All pigments and tones, old and young, his and hers, all we are one. You, we, me. This is UE TV.
Round Hay Pharmacy now has 2 locations to fill your prescriptions promptly and efficiently. Our branch at One Accord Plaza is open daily, including Sundays and bank holidays. Also, check out our new drive-through location at Warren's Healthcare Complex in Michael, the first and only drive-through pharmacy in Barbados. For more information, call Round Hay One Accord Plaza at 421-7863 and our new drive-through branch at Warren's in Michael at 424-5574.
We continue in Barbados, where former Prime Minister Owen Arthur is concerned that the island's central bank could be running low on foreign reserves and that the island is headed for a serious financial crisis. He says the reserves at the bank have fallen from $1.5 billion to $600 million, and he's suggesting that government has 3 months to get its act together to avert a total collapse of the economy. Arthur also told the Nation newspaper that the current impasse between Central Bank Governor Delisle Worrell and Finance Minister Chris Sinclair is more than just a difference in fiscal policy. The former Prime Minister, who was also a Finance Minister, contended that the bad policy of printing money to cover government's deficit over the past few years is partly responsible for the country's current economic situation. And he said measures such as project funding and privatization geared to boost the economy have not worked. Arthur believes government has exhausted its ability to borrow from local banks, the country's national insurance scheme, and on the foreign markets, and it's therefore running out of options to support the foreign reserves. The former leader says the time is right for a stronger central bank, a stronger finance minister, and a stronger prime minister. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister does not plan to have any special meeting with women's rights activists, despite their request for a hearing last week. Dr. Keith Rowley says that since assuming office, he has met with many civil society groups and he will continue to do so. He came under fire last week after suggesting, in response to questions about domestic violence in the country, that women should be more careful in choosing their partners. There have been calls for him to apologize, and on Monday in Parliament, he was called upon to answer questions about his government's handling of the domestic violence issue. We get more in this report from CNC3 News.
When the Prime Minister gave what he thought was good advice to the women of this country last week, his words were met with criticism in some quarters. Some called him callous, and others called for him to meet with women's activists to understand their issues. And this is how he answered the question about that request for a meeting.
Before becoming Prime Minister and as Prime Minister, I've had many consultations with women, and I have been in consultation with women's group, and I will continue so to do.
Topics related to domestic violence dominated the segment of the sitting where the Prime Minister answers questions directly. He was asked about legislation to stop the scourge of domestic crimes.
Any offence that we are aware of being committed against women in the context of domestic violence, such offences are currently covered by existing legislation. And to the extent that there is need for any further review as we go along, we do so. But insofar as violence against women is concerned, this country is liberally served by a series of pieces of legislation.
There was even a question about programs in the education system to teach young men how to treat the females in their lives.
We could be having in the school system thousands of teachers and thousands of students, and the behavior from discipline to empathy to general human behavior not being part of the general teaching in the schools. And I can tell you that is part of the schools program, starting with discipline and appreciation of your fellow man.
Now, while there has been harsh criticism of the Prime Minister from some quarters, many on social media have said that they agree with the Prime Minister for reminding women to be more careful in their choice of partners.
In Haiti, President of the National Assembly, Yuri Lotoutour, has denied any involvement in the arrest and extradition of rebel leader turned politician Guy Philippe after a voice recording surfaced implicating him in the matter. Lotoutour and 4 members of the Lavalas party have been implicated in the conspiracy, but he said he unreservedly denies the presumptions made about any role he played in the matter. 48-year-old Philippe was elected as a senator for the Grand Anse district in the November 20 legislative and presidential elections last year. But he was arrested and extradited to the United States last month, where he has since pleaded not guilty to charges of drug smuggling, money laundering. The charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. And ahead in Newsline Sport, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force confident of victory ahead of the semi-finals of the Regional Super 50, which bowls off in less than 24 hours. Stay with us. Sport is next.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the colour of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Round Hay Pharmacy now has 2 locations to fill your prescriptions promptly and efficiently. Our branch at One Accord Plaza is open daily, including Sundays and bank holidays. Also, check out our new drive-through location at Warren's Healthcare Complex in Michael, the first and only drive-through pharmacy in Barbados. For more information, call Round Hay One Accord Plaza at 421-7863 and our new drive-through branch at Warren's in Michael at 424-5574.
The first semi-final of the regional Super 50 tournament bowls off Wednesday in Antigua. Reigning champions Trinidad and Tobago Red Force will take on Jamaica Scorpions at Coolidge Cricket Ground. Red Force are at the top of Zone A and head coach Gus Logie says his men are confident of reaching Saturday's final.
I think the build-up has been pretty good for the players. As I said before, in the squad we do have some experienced players who knows what it's about. They've been there, done that. Led by the captain. He has really and truly steered the ship to where we are at this point in time, and the players have responded very well to his leadership. And his leadership has been both on and off the field, and I think it augurs well for Trinidad and Tobago cricket and certainly at the extension cricket West Indies. We look forward to a semi-final clash against Jamaica. We know how competitive and how dangerous the Jamaicans can be, and we are preparing in every way possible for that. We just had a session here, and all the players been put through the paces. They all are comfortable with their own game and look forward to the challenge against the Jamaicans.
Logie says he believes his players will be able to adjust quickly to the pitch in Antigua as they have played there before.
Well, it is an advantage having played on it before, but I think, in today's world we will have, players, experienced players playing in all different conditions. It's a matter of adjusting to the conditions very well, and we believe on both sides there are experienced players who can adjust to different situations and different conditions. So I don't see it as being too much of an advantage, but it's good to know that we have played on it before and we know what to expect.
Meanwhile, head coach of the Jamaica Scorpions, Robert Samuels, says while he has confidence in his team, there are certain areas they need to improve ahead of the match.
I think that the players, we haven't really put it together as I would like 100%, but there are sparks. We have won some man of the matches. We've been doing well with the ball. We've been doing okay with the bat, but I would like to see the bat do a little bit more, and then the ball will hold its own. So happy coming here. Yes, we grew from strength to strength in Barbados, but this is now Antigua. Looking at the television, looking at the surface, it's a different surface from what we're used to. I must admit that Kensington Oval was excellent in terms of the ground, the pitch, the bounce, the carry, everything was excellent there, and it suited our play. And coming here now, I see the pitch still looks to be a good batting track, but I'm thinking it's void of grass, so it's going to be a little bit, you have to show a little bit more patience on pitches like those. I see the bowlers come back, the fast bowlers especially, bowling a little bit straight and all that. So we have to change our game plan, just a little bit, not too much. But once it is that I look at my game and once our game, in terms of the Scorpions game, and once our game come together, then we are going to be a formidable opponent.
Samuel says the team has the advantage of several experienced players.
The experience of some of the names that you have called, the experience of the captain Nikita Miller, he has done a tremendous job in terms of coming and getting the team together. Bobby Taylor has come and done a tremendous job in the fast bowling department. He's got skills, and in one-day cricket you need that skill, especially when you come up for the second or third spell. So those names that you have called have really done well for us. The batting, it has some experience in terms of Andre McCarthy, in terms of Blackwood, Chadwick Walton, so we have the experience on both sides. And I think the beauty about our cricket that we are playing an all-round game. We're not dependent on any one man to get the job done. We're dependent on the team to do well. And I believe that in tournament, in championship, when your team is doing well, when each person is performing, then
CARICOM is reiterating its commitment to the West Indies Cricket Board. The assurance from CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque ahead of the intersessional meeting of regional leaders of heads of government in Guyana this weekend. CARICOM says West Indies cricket will not feature during the talks.
I think the position of the community is very, very clear on the need for modernizing and reforming the management and the administration of West Indies cricket. That remains a concern, notwithstanding the instances where performance may have improved from time to time. By and large, there is a problem that needs to be looked at, and we continue to pursue that. The heads of government have established a mechanism for continuing looking at the issue, and that will continue.
Trinidad and Tobago's new head national coach Dennis Lawrence says he will start working with his new team by next week. Lawrence announced his backroom staff on Saturday, among them are Stern John coach Solomon Campbell and Stuart Charles Favera as assistant coaches and Ross Russell goalkeeper coach.
I've been here, I've been taking the time to assess everything, assess the people that are involved in the football, both locally and abroad. I've been to the games, and I think I've finally come up with a staff that I think can help us to achieve the things that we want to achieve. I think I've put together a very ambitious, innovative and hard-working staff, and I've got a lot of trust in the people and them that I've selected on the staff, because a lot of them I know very, very well. I've worked with them over the past, and I'm quite confident and quite happy to finally put together this staff that I think is going to help us to achieve our goals.
Lawrence was appointed head coach last month following the sudden resignation of Belgian Tom St. Viet, who spent 5 weeks on the job. St. Kitts and Nevis Under-20 team will compete in the CONCACAF Under-20 Championship for the first time in 10 years. St. Kitts will open Group B play on Friday against Haiti in Costa Rica. The Sugar Boys are keen to make an impression in the competition, and the team's technical director, Lenny Lake, has brought on support staff to assist with pre-tournament preparations. They include Lionel Flores of Honduras, who took his country's Under-17 team to the 2013 and 2015 World Cup. Lake has also secured the services of coach Gary Stemple, who took the Panama Under-20s to the 2003 World Cup. The Sugar Boys will also play Panama on February 21 and the United States on February 24. Lake says they plan to make history, and there has so far been a high level of positivity in the camp. Jamaica's double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson says she is looking forward to making her debut at the World Relays in the Bahamas in April. Thompson won gold in the 100-meter and 200 meters at the Rio Olympics last year and was named Jamaica's Sportswoman of the Year. She has never competed in the World Relays, and she told the Observer newspaper she knows when Team Jamaica steps out in April 22nd and 23rd event, they will perform. Thompson says she's preparing to face her rivals in Nassau. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Yeah, you also are a pastor, are you not?
Well, I teach the Bible on the radio.
Okay.
And I'm kind of different that way. I went to Bible college and graduated from Bible college before I went to law school. And so I actually went to law school to be in the ministry. And so ministry is a really important part of the law firm. Mm-hmm. And so we even have people call every day the law firm for prayer. And we've the law firm's distributed over 2,000 Bibles for free.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and CaribVision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today. Again, the major developments of this day. Operations begin at St. Vincent's long-awaited Argyle International Airport. And in sport, Defending regional Super 50 champions Trinidad and Tobago Red Force confident of victory ahead of the semi-finals, which bowl off in less than 24 hours. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to KanaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a very good Valentine's night.